Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Rivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, a hero in her own rights.
She's everything.
You know what?
What is a superpower if not
being everything? And though it was not directly referenced in the film, there must be a powered version of Barbie.
I mean,
there's an everything version of Barbie. She is everything.
She is everything. I think just like Looney Tunes-esque being able to change outfits and pull props out.
Ooh, yes.
Is in itself.
The power of imagination is the ultimate power of it all.
It's the ultimate power of it all. So we're talking about Barbie.
We're talking about Barbie.
And Ken.
And Ken. And Alan. We're talking about all of them this week on the podcast.
We're going to talk about Alan.
We're going to talk about Alan. We're talking about Barbie this week on the podcast. And it's a fun, it fits the vibes. The vibes are right.
The vibes are right. She's a toy. We're fun.
Let's not overthink it.
We're not going to overthink it.
You know what? I'm embracing my Kenergy. I ain't overthinking it.
I'm going to just be everything today.
Yes, I love this. So we're talking about Barbie today. Since this is a new movie, anytime that we talk about a new movie or TV show, we always give you a spoiler-free review. So in case you're on the fence about seeing it, or maybe you're on your way to the movie theater right now, whatever your reasons might be, we're going to give you a spoiler-free review. Then once you hear the theme song, that is going to be when we enter the spoiler-filled section.
Maybe you're trying to decide between Barbie and Oppenheimer this week, and you're like, I need some ideas.
Which do I do? Well, let's get into a spoiler-free review. Let's start with the simple question. Diana, did you like it?
I did like it. I liked it quite a bit. It's not a love, but it is a pretty high like. It's so fun. It's easy to watch. It's gorgeous. It is so just nice to look at, and I've never seen people having so much fun making a movie, but like structured fun, not like Will Ferrell making Anchorman fun, but like we all love it here.
Not an improv game fun, but like everyone's having a good time.
Everyone is like, I loved coming into work today vibes, like my job rules, not like we're all just going crazy and we're gonna have 18 million outtakes. Like, so it feels fun, it looks incredible, it's got stuff to say. I would say the third act's messy and has too much to say, but there are some good ideas of things to say, but like at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know what you were saying, but I had a lot of fun. So you're forgiven, but you really had a marketing campaign that this movie had a thing to say about something. But it's gorgeous. The performances are so fun. The diversity of Barbies and Kens is just phenomenal. Yeah, very few complaints. Had a great time at the theater. This was a fun movie-going experience. I think my biggest complaint would probably be, I'll get into it a little bit more after, I think the trailers gave way too much away about this movie. So much of it I saw coming, or like the best jokes had been already revealed, so I wish they'd been a little bit more secretive, but I think it's a very fun, good movie. I had a great time. Andrew, did you like Barbie?
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Like I'm a low level love.
Okay,
I definitely have some criticisms of it. I agree with what you were saying. I'm like, I really would have liked it if they locked in on a theme.
One theme would have been so great.
They go for a few too many things, which I know might seem like a weird complaint of the Barbie movie, but it's like they do have something to say, but a little bit of too much to say.
She's
from
everything.
Two different topics. She is everything.
She's every
and
theme.
And it might be purposeful, but it does make it a little foggy. But for the most part, it's like the vibes are right. It is fun. It's visually gorgeous. It's laugh out loud funny. The comedy hits. The vibes are right. The dramatic scenes are well performed, and even they hit me good. They hit hard, even when I was like, is this a third theme? But I was still like, fuck it, I'm in it for the vibes. And even the dramatic vibes was still just vibes. And I really liked that. I'm like, when it was funny, it was hilarious. When it was gorgeous, it was beautiful. And when it was dramatic, it got me. I'm like, at any given moment, this movie is a lot of different things, and it is very successful at doing all of them with, a phenomenal cast, all of whom, not only is it a star-studded cast, all of whom are perfectly cast in the roles that they are in.
Ooh.
Because there are many movies that you will see out there where you look at the cast listing and you're like, that's a lot of fucking names. And then you go to see the movie and you're like, oh, you got a lot of names to help sell tickets, but no one really fits in any of the places you've put them. I will say with everyone in this movie fits exactly where they are put. It's a phenomenal star-studded cast and everyone is exactly the right choice for who everyone is at any given moment.
I will completely agree because I agree that this movie is great, but it is vibes. But vibes doesn't work if everyone's not on the same page and doing the same movie.
Yeah.
And you can be doing wildly different characters. Some of you are dolls and some of you are humans, but you have to be on the same page about it.
Yes.
And the movie nails the vibes and the page that everyone's on. And all of the actors are like, we have been very clearly told the delineations of reality and what Barbies are and what Kens are and what humans are. And we've got it nailed.
And how we're playing this version of it and that version of it. And there's a lot of different things going on. And yeah, everyone hits it immaculately. I only have one casting criticism, which we can get into later, but that's still mild. And I think still comes down to, yeah, that's good casting, weirdly enough.
I'm very curious what that will be. There's so many cast members.
Right. So yeah, it's just everyone's great. Everyone's on point. The vibes are immaculate. It's funny. It's dramatic. It's charming. It's gorgeous. It's Barbie. I had a blast. I'd watch it again. I'd watch it again right now. Like today, I'd watch it a second time. It's still a low love because I'm like, at long term, I don't know if this is a movie that I'll seek out over and over again. But like right now, I'm riding the high, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good viewing experience.
Yeah, it's a great viewing experience, especially the first two acts. Yeah, they lost me a little in the third. It gets a little muddy, but it's a ride. It's nothing you've ever seen before.
Yes, it's very unique and individual.
It's so nice to see something unique and like real and practical. We'll get deep into that later, but a wonderful experience.
Yeah, absolutely. For a movie that is made by Warner Brothers Discovery about a doll, about a commercial product, this feels like an A24 movie. Like this feels like Everything Everywhere All at Once more than it feels like a Warner Brothers movie about a purchasable product. So it has a very distinct vibes and energy.
I would actually say it feels kind of like before we had special effects.
Ooh,
like
yes.
a 50s or 60s film, like an old school sci-fi where they were like, no, we just had to practically build the little machine in the machine that goes into your body in Fantastic Voyage.
Or like a comedy genre mashup, kind of like, I would say even like we were still doing that in the late 90s, like Beetlejuice type of a thing where it's like the costumes, set work, everything like that.
It's all real. We built it.
Every single person working on this film is busting their ass to do the best version of what this film is. Yeah. And can it be spoiled?
Not really. I wouldn't say. I will say I've heard a lot of like in the interviews, a lot of the actors were like, you don't really know what the movie's gonna be, and I didn't know where the third act was gonna go, but I don't think it's like spoilable.
I also think the movie doesn't quite know where the third act is going.
That's one of the problems.
But yeah. So I agree with you. I don't think it's super spoilable. It is a romp that involves Barbie parentheses S close parentheses and Ken parenthetical S. So, it is, they go on a romp, and that is the journey. And I don't think there's that much to be spoiled. A couple little polls, but
I guess when my earlier complaint was that too many of the jokes were in the trailer, maybe you can spoil a little bit.
Maybe you can.
I would have loved to have seen this blind.
I do think it's hard to spoil jokes per se, third hand. Like us telling a joke that we've heard.
Spoil it.
Yeah, but a trailer showing you the clip of it, I agree can.
Mm-hmm. But we're not gonna spoil it.
But we're not gonna spoil it.
Not us.
So I think I'm a love, you're a high like.
High like.
And we're of the opinion that it can't really be spoiled.
Nah, but just go see Barbie.
That is, I think, where we're at. Well, before we get into the spoiler-filled section of the podcast, we want to thank our sponsor of this week's episode. We want to thank our friends over at tpublic.com.
tpublic.com, where you're going to get your next favorite tee or tank top or hoodie or one of those things in a different color than you expect it to be.
Yeah. Get pink. Get pink.
They're everything.
Get a pink tank top. Have a good time. One design that I'm really liking this week is one that's just called Ripley, and it is Ripley from Alien in the style of Barbie, and it has Ripley in the Barbie font. You throw that on a pink background. I get that on a tank top. Suns out, guns out. Full on Canergy. Female icon Ripley. I'm ready to blast my way to the beach.
Andrew is hitting all the points as he goes to beach off with this Ripley design.
Absolutely.
He is absolutely nailing it. I am a Malibu Barbie, but Boo is spelled B-O-O, and she's kind of a Halloween themed. She comes in a coffin Barbie. I think it's so cute. I love a goth Barbie who's in a coffin, Malibu.
Goth Barbie
She's
can easily be a vibe.
everything.
Yeah. Pink goth is also subcategory of like a Barbie vibe that exists out there and needs a shirt like this as well.
So many incredible designs made by indie artists getting a fair commission for their work. If you do find something you love in our store or anywhere on tpublic.com, you're going to love what you find.
Yes, well made, well priced, shipped right to your doorstep. And when you shop through our store link, not only do you support the artist, but you also directly support this show as well. So check out our storefront over at tpublic.fromsuperheroes.com. That is public.fromsuperheroes.com. And thank you very much, TeePublic, for your support.
Thank you so much, TeePublic.
And now let's get into the episode. Let's talk more about Barbie.
Come on, Barbie. Let's talk Barbie.
All right, we have seen Barbie. We're on a pretty high energy, though I liked it a little bit more than yourself. But we both had a fun time.
We both had a fun time. Yeah, I think my favorite thing is what I said off the top about how, like, I guess we added a few things. Like, it's so practical, and I think that made it so incredible to film. Like, it felt like every actor was like, I love being here. I feel very lucky to be on a set that is real. We have these incredible costumes, these incredible set pieces, these big ensemble scenes. Like, I'm sure most of these actors are like, the last thing I did was 8 days of green screen or 3 months of green screen. Like, especially like Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie. Oh yeah, Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie. Definitely like so much.
Suicide Squad, Blade Runner, and even though Blade Runner it had a lot of visual effects, they still had some good sets and things like that. But yeah, they're working on a lot of big green screen, blue screen pieces. I would be frankly shocked if this movie doesn't win just a ton of technical awards at the Oscars,
many.
where like everything from like costume design, set design, and like every kind of trades-based work piece that is on this movie is phenomenal. I think this will sweep a lot of categories in the Oscars, other than maybe visual effects, because I don't think it uses that many of them, other than a handful, which I think is a great decision. But yeah, costume, set design, wardrobe, soundtrack, everything is immaculate.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Absolutely so on point. And not even just like we had to design it, we had to take actual Barbie outfits and make them look good on real people, and like, but also like kind of slightly update them, but make them very clearly Barbie costumes. It is, oh my God, the prop work, like with the roller skates, they look like they're made of like thin, cheap plastic, but you're actually skating in them. There is so much love happening in every aspect of this movie, just in the costumes, in the props, in the scene work of like, there's always something happening at every point in a scene. Maybe just to the left, there's like a Ken and a Barbie doing a funny thing that you're not even going to notice till like the fourth viewing.
Yeah.
In every single scene.
And I think what is brilliant is that obviously for the costume designers working on a movie like this, Barbie being a fashion influence kind of icon throughout the years. You know, I'm no doll or Barbie historian, but I know that it has highly influenced and been influenced by the fashion world. So if you're a costume designer coming onto this project, I imagine it's a lot of pressure, and you're like, I got to come in with my A game isn't good enough. My A game is shit. I need to bring to my A+++ S ranking game in order to bring the heat on this. But then there are departments like set dressing and background work and things that aren't the fashion influence side of Barbie that this movie nails. Things like transitioning from the Barbie land to the real world.
Oh my God, it was so simple. but so cool.
Having these painted backgrounds that moved around them, and as the painted backgrounds would be physically removed as they rollerblade onto Venice Beach, it looked gorgeous. And it's just a practical effect, and it's not necessarily, what people think of when they think of Barbie, but the way it was influenced was great. Even that initial road that she's driving her dream car down, where it's like this cobblestone brick, beautiful, perfect road with this weird desert on either side. Like, it's a real great visualization of like the perfection is leaving. And little things like that where I'm like, there's nothing in the Barbie lookbook that tells you this should look like that, but this is exactly what this should look like.
Yeah, it is so great to look at. And yeah, you can tell that everyone, even like, God, some scenes were so fun to look at. And also I was just so jealous as like a theater kid, like that, like they actually got to do these scenes with real props. Like the scene where like 10 Kens are singing Push by Matchbox 20, but they all have like their fake little fires and they all have their props and they're all lit up and they're all along this fake beach with these big styrofoam waves that don't move. And I'm like, I would literally kill for an acting role. Like, I believe actors need to be paid more, but I would pay to be in this movie. It must have been such an incredible experience. And you can feel it in everyone's performance and in their interviews afterwards. Like, everyone loved being in this movie.
It's one of the few times where I'm like, you seem excited to do press for the movie that you were in.
Yes, no one is painstakingly like, I gotta eat the hot wings, fuck. Like, it's like, they're all like, yes, please ask me about Barbie.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is losing his mind as the only positive method actor to ever appear. Like,
Sure.
He has become Ken in the most hilarious way in interviews where I'm like, this is the only method acting I accept, where you just turn into a himbo who loves his girlfriend too much.
It's you love to see it.
Love to see it. Equality or not, I don't even know what it is. It's Ken. It's just Ken.
It's just Ken. So the looks, the vibes, everyone's having a great time. The comedy of this movie hits, like the opening sequence being the 2001 Space Odyssey of the introduction of Barbie as the first non-baby doll is an incredible introduction scene.
It's absolutely incredible for like structure, how they filmed it. It looked so good. The themes and allegory of like girls deciding they don't have to be moms and destroying the baby dolls and being like, we can be other things. We can be adults with jobs. And I actually think it really ties into what I liked about the practicality, because like 2001 A Space Odyssey is like sci-fi with practical everything. There's like no effects. So to be like, yeah, this is the influence and this is where we're starting, and you get the vibes throughout the movie of the same universe.
I would even say that, like, weirdly, there's some stuff you just don't ever expect to say about Barbie, but its parallel of 2001 A Space Odyssey also does a great job of representing the opportunity for growth and where it takes us as a species, and the failure of us never quite achieving that as well. Like, of the idea of like, here we are, we're about to grow and expand, and will that make everything perfect? And in 2001 it doesn't.
No.
And in Barbie it doesn't. And I think that that's a very interesting conversation it has, to be like, this changed things and showed opportunity and something that you could be that you didn't envision yourself before. But we're also about to have a conversation about the complicated legacy that provides, which is what tools provide for humanity. And that represents in 2001. And I'm like, this actually is kind of nailing exactly the representation of this metaphor.
Yeah, I will say, as much as Act 3 is too messy with metaphors and themes, Act 1 and 2 are solid and clean and good. Like the weird Barbie being like, you are, you have to decide if you want to know more or not. You don't actually have a choice. I want to get into this part deeply, so maybe I should mention it now. But when Barbie enters the real world and becomes self-conscious and loses her innocence and feels a pervading sense of violence from the men around her, is haunting in its realism. And I will think about it for the rest of my life.
Yeah. and Ken not feeling it
and
as
Ken
well.
being empowered by it. Ken getting stronger from it.
There are moments of this movie where I'm like, this is drop dead hilarious and sickening simultaneously.
Yes, it absolutely is. I'm laughing as everyone, as like, you know, the gay guys hit on Ken, and I'm also like, this is so upsetting that in moments she has lost her agency, she has lost her power from stepping from one world into the next in seconds, and she can feel it. It's not one of those movies where you're like Born Sexy Yesterday and you're like, I guess I'm fine and I'll talk to ladies.
I'm naive.
She's not naive. That's what's so brilliant what this movie does. That it's no other movie has ever done it this way, where she is instantly aware of the changes to society and how she's being perceived and can process them, but still doesn't get them.
And then to pair that with like anytime that Margot Robbie is giving a heavy dramatic performance, Ryan Gosling is there to provide full comedic energy.
Oh.
And that is very necessary to make this movie palatable, even though it's like it has something unpalatable to say at a lot of times, which I think is the point, and it is powerful and meaningful. But her being like, there's an undertone of violence, and then cutting to Ryan Gosling immediately being like, it's weird, I don't feel any hint of violence in any of this. And like just him, but that himbo energy of like, I'm fine, everything's great is obviously comedic, but it has this perspective to it. It's very powerful and very funny simultaneously.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like him wanting to find books about trucks instantly and becoming more stereotypically manly instantly is very funny, but it's also such a note about like how quickly toxic masculinity and like toxic culture can affect young innocent boys into turning into terrible men.
Yeah.
There is so much happening in Act 1 and 2, but cleanly.
Yes.
In a way that you're like, oh, this is what this movie's about. And then they lose it in Act 3, but like it's...
of like structural and societal prejudice and sexism, focused mainly on sexism, but obviously there's societal prejudice in the real world. But this idea of like societal, cultural, and structural sexism that exists, that is so pervasive. It's like you cannot exist in this world, in these systems, without it being part of your mentality and part of who you are.
Yeah, there is no way to be unaffected by this world that women have to live in, and even men to a different degree, to the up and down version of it.
And even to the version where like it is perverting what is somewhat of the innocence of Ken, because there is still like a part of him that's just like, I really like horses. And it's like, there's nothing wrong. That's kind of sweet and innocent. But how quickly I really like horses, they're powerful and majestic, turns into I like trucks and the patriarchy is the commentary as well, that it perverts even the most innocent of these traditional masculine ideas. I think that's very smart. But also, again, very like it is always sandwiched between a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With great jokes. Just being like, you go for a walk. And he's like, where do I go? And he doesn't know how to go for a walk. And he's like making sure she's watching him. And it's like, yes, he is. God, Ryan Gosling nailed this role to the point where I'm like Margot Robbie is good and Ryan Gosling steals the show. And I'm like, that feels so a thing I don't want to say about a movie called Barbie.
It's tough because I
he gets
don't
more
know.
comedy to do.
He has more comedy to do. I don't know if he steals the show because there are flat out scenes where, to talk about how like, you know, we'll get into it more, but like the plot being a bit messy or there's a few too many things going on. There are scenes where Margot Robbie has to go full drama and is weeping and is selling full drama in scenes that I don't know if they've quite earned it, but she sells the shit out of it. Whereas Gosling is taking jokes that all work on paper and he is elevating it, which is great. But Margot is taking a few things that don't quite work on paper and not only making it work, but making it work incredibly.
She is given the harder job.
She's given the harder job, and I think she really does a lot with it. It's really incredible to see.
It is. I just think comedy just kind of gets more love.
Yes,
of course. And he's given way more jokes to do. He's given a musical number, which I think is pretty unfair that Barbie didn't get one. I don't know if Margot Robbie can or wants to sing, but I love musical numbers, so like more. There should be some Barbie that can sing.
Yeah, you would think that
can't be the only one singing.
Yeah. I don't know why she doesn't get a musical one, but I do also even like that as like in this that hilarious montage we get of what real world masculinity is, where it breaks this movie breaking the fourth wall. I think it does a really good job of it. But when we as a movie going audience just get clips of masculine things where it's just like horses, a fist, and we're not even seeing it from the perspective of Ken. We are experiencing it through the perspective of Ken, and then just random images of Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, 3 different looks.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. But then it's the masculine dance fighting or the the air quote masculine dance fighting of Grease, and that's why they have the black shirt dance off. Is because that is how Ken has now defined his identity of masculinity. Yeah.
Yeah, there is God. Yeah, Ryan. I also will say this about Ryan Gosling. He must have been so sore every single day. It is so tiring to suck your abs in for hours at a time.
He is visibly tensing the whole movie, and to do that and deliver comedy is exhausting.
To do that and deliver comedy, he sings a song with his abs visible, so he can't like expand his diaphragm and like sing about how hard it is to be a Ken properly. Because like I remember there was, because I'm so cool, I was listening to the audio commentary of Fantastic Four. Please
very cool.
Hold your applause. Hold your applause. The first one with Chris Evans. Chris Evans has one long scene where he's shirtless, and literally he was like, I was sore for 3 days afterwards because I was just tensing my abs up for 8 hours straight. So Ryan Gosling being so shirtless for so much of this movie, this man might have actually Kendalled. Like his abs might just be stuck that way now.
That's just how he looks now.
That's just him.
Yeah. So that is also very tough for him to do. But I will say also credit to, even though comedy is, laughter is the sound of pure joy. So yes, he's getting a lot of the comedic lines. Margot does a lot as well. And also just credit to Margot Robbie for being the producer of this movie, who went to the studio and was like, this is $1 billion movie, and Greta is going to be who does it. Greta Gerwig is going to be the writer-director. And that was the correct decision. And I feel like that's also one of the strengths of Margot Robbie now, where it's just like, Margot Robbie is a phenomenal award-winning actor. As well, if you are a studio talking to Margot Robbie, ask her what she wants to do and just get the fuck out of her way, because studios' ideas for Margot Robbie are like, what if we paired her with Jared Leto, a twisted sicko? And it's like, no one saw that and it was full of crimes. And Margot Robbie's like, let me produce an all-female Birds of Prey movie. It's going to be way better. Everyone's going to have a great time. Anytime Margot Robbie gets to produce, it is a hot number where everyone enjoyed making the project, and it's a good project.
Yeah.
Just kudos to Margot Robbie to be, because this was also a movie that's been in development hell for a decade.
Yeah, it had a different writer-director originally.
It had 4 different ones.
This
ones. Had as many writer-directors as The Flash. This has been burning through them.
Yeah, and also it's a movie about a toy. Those are throwaway films. They're not supposed to be anything. That's Transformers 1. That's or any other Transformers movie for that matter. That's the movie Battleship.
Yes, this should be Battleship.
This should just be a throwaway, Barbie came to life movie. But sometimes you can take those ones that are just ads, maybe a Lego movie, and turn them into something truly phenomenal and special and capture what is joyful and unique about a particular toy.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
And Margot, she did it. She brought it all together.
Margot did that. Yeah, a phenomenal leading actor and the producer who got this made and made this work. I will take a slight sidestep to mention the only negative piece of casting that I will say in this movie.
I'm excited.
And it's not even negative. It's just, you already played this role. And it is Will Ferrell as Professor Business from the Lego movie. And I was like, yeah, Will Ferrell works as this role because he already did this role. And it feels actually kind of idiotic, and not in a wink and nudge way that this movie is aware of that he's doing this again. That it's Will Ferrell already played the evil businessman in a toys have come to life and have affected the parental story of a real world family. You already did this, and it's this again.
He did already do this to the point where I had a quick moment where I'm like, are Lego and Mattel the same? And this is like a crossover? Is this the same universe?
I legit had the same thought that he was like going to be like, I have to get home and play Lego with my son. That it was going to be the same character.
And that would actually be kind of funny. A thing to do. I will agree. I think he's slightly different in a way that I actually quite like, but he is still mostly Professor Business or whatever that character's name was. Sorry, it's been a while since I saw a Lego movie.
Yeah.
Because I actually will say it is weird because there's so many other comedians.
Yeah.
Like many other comedians can play this role. Will Ferrell is so good, but there's literally only ever been one toy movie evil businessman.
Yeah. Lord business. That's what it is. Yeah. So it's not that it's bad casting, it's lazy casting. To be like, this role is almost the same as Lord Business. Let's get that guy again. I'm like, you could get literally any of the other people from that type of slapstick Adam McKay movie. Get anyone else from Anchorman. Paul Rudd would be great in this role. It wouldn't be.
I love seeing Paul Rudd anywhere.
And that's also great, but it wouldn't be the same role we've seen Paul Rudd do. So, like, Will Ferrell's good, but replaceable and boring casting, as I would say.
He is, but I also think he's actually one of my favorite comedic beats of this. I think he does a great job. Like it is lazy, but I think he does such fun jobs. When he's like trying to get over the cubicle instead of going around the cubicle. I also really like that in the end, like when you really think about it, he wasn't evil at all. Maybe trying to put her back in the box, but there is a rift in reality and kids were killed last time. So maybe villain was writing this. I don't know. But then when they're trying to get to Barbie Land, and the other CEOs are like, the Ken dolls are flying off the shelves. He's like, no, I genuinely care about little girls' dreams. And I need to get this Barbie situation fixed. I actually was like, oh, I like this I really liked actually throughout the whole movie that they had hijinks with no sense of danger.
Yes, that is very true. That had a very nice feeling to it.
Yeah, this whole movie was just very easy to watch. You're like, oh, the CEOs are chasing her, but like you don't feel a sense of danger, even though she has already talked about the prevalent feeling of violence in this world, which is very hard to balance.
The themes are very adult, but like how each moment to moment plays out is very like, this could be an animated rated G movie where it's just like, oh, no one's getting hurt. There's no threat of physical violence. Yeah. There's an implication of it and that's it. Yeah,
there's an implication. That's it. Like, we don't really see them get arrested. It's just funny hijinks of like them getting their fingerprints taken over and over again. Even just through like kind of plot and communication. Like I really liked that Barbie just immediately told the other Barbies when her feet got flat and her world was malfunctioning. I liked that there was no like pretending everything's fine or like not talking to each other. I'm like, this feels like true solidarity. Yeah. And it feels nice to instantly go to your friends and be like, something's wrong.
And there's a level of like just honesty.
Just honesty that like I feel like it's the same thing as like if you were to make her naive and dumb if she came to the real world. Just like any other movie would have been like, she's going to hide it and she's going to like sneak off to the real world and she won't tell anyone.
Right. She's walking around pretending and like there's like long scenes in jail as opposed to just her being at jail being like, I didn't know I had to pay for it. Someone being like, you're good, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like just like, okay, all right. This is like, we're keeping it moving. It's not.
It's moving. It feels nice. You're very relaxed the whole time you watch it. As we said, vibes.
Yeah.
The vibes are just wildly strong.
Yes.
Good vibes.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I even feel like the Mattel executive, played by Will Ferrell, it might even be a kind of continuation on this exploration the movie does of a complicated history. And like there's actually not the right decision and wrong decision. It's all pretty gooey and humanity is complex. To be like, it's a male executive in a room full of male executives who does actually care that the dolls are female and represent female empowerment. And that is neither good nor bad, but is ?
I guess it's nice. It really goes with the quick theme when Ryan Gosling, or he's Ken, when Ken meets a guy and the guy is like, oh no, it's hard for men now. And he's like, it's actually not, but we like pretend it is.
We've done a better job of hiding it.
That was the line. That really fucking knocked my teeth out of like, no, that's the quiet part. No one's saying out loud, huh?
That was a great line.
That was a great line. And just like, yeah, again, just wildly dark and real in this movie about a plastic Barbie.
Yeah. Some dark and real stuff in here. But that kind of leads to, I think we can discuss the themes a little bit, where like there's a bit too much going on.
Yeah, I'm actually at the end of the day not even sure what the final theme was. I think America Ferrera's like big speech about how it's impossible to be a woman because we have to be everything and nothing at the same time was like very good, and about like, yes, it is hard to be a woman, but I don't know if at the end of the day, I liked hearing it and I liked being effective, and I like getting that word out that it is, we are too judgmental towards women in every regard. But at the end of the day, I don't know what I took from it to feel like empowered or informed I'm not saying movies have to have clear themes like that, but when movies definitely are pretending they have a very clear theme, I want a real clear theme at the end of the day.
Well, I think where the movie kind of throws me off with its exploration of themes is that each character seems to be talking about a different one. So it's like America Ferrera's character as like the mother talking about like, well, my role as a mother, as a business person, as this and that, and in society, and it's impossible to be everything, and Barbie is everything, and that's still not enough. And I'm like, this is a great message of I think we're getting close to a theme of feminism and the definition of womanhood in modern society. But then when it cuts to Barbie's exploration of themes it's her meeting her creator, and it's a theme of existential dread and purpose in the universe. It's not necessarily a theme of feminine identity as it is our place in existence.
Yeah,
who created us.
Yeah, she's existential. America Ferrera is societal.
And Ken is relationship as well, to be like, you don't define yourself based on others, which is another thing. And like, these are all themes that are good, interesting themes that I think that this movie has something to say on, but no character is at any given time talking about the same theme.
Yes, I can completely agree. Because yeah, there's even more themes happening. Like, to me, when I'm watching Act 3, I'm like, oh, this is about women's loss of agency when men invade our spaces. Like spaces that we try to carve out for ourselves. That's what Barbie Land Becoming Kendom is about. But then like no one really talks about it that way. Like no one's like, our houses were taken from us and we don't have the right to vote anymore. And I'm like, isn't that where we're going? And it's like, no, that's not where we're going. It's like, okay, we're gonna like just trick the men via mansplaining now. And I'm like, they do that. Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, there's just like, in every message is a good message and a good theme, but they're all just piled onto each other like a smoothie.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, I can't taste any individual flavor.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it's meant to be Neapolitan as well. Like it's a bunch of flavors, but they have been put in a blender because that third act, we're witnessing it from Barbie's perspective, but we're being told it from Ken's perspective. So I agree with you. Barbie's perspective is, oh my God, we've lost control of this world and lost agency and we need to get that back. And then Ken's perspective is a perspective of jealousy, and I've caused the degradation of society by defining my masculinity on what society has told me women think of me. And I'm like, there's actually a lot to say about masculinity in this act. And then the second act is a lot of America Ferrera and her daughter and about the parental relationship and what that has to say. But I'm like, we're never synced up though. They're all right, and I agree with everything this movie has to say, but it just never gets that last like boom, because I never quite feel like they coalesce into a single theme. Because the big emotional crux of this movie is that Margot Robbie talking to her creator in a white void, and then it cuts to that fourth wall breaking, like we see just a series of vignettes of real life women in their experiences in the world. And it's nice and it's beautiful, and Margot Robbie sells the shit out of that scene. But I'm like, okay, and like I even got like a little teary. And then as soon as the scene ended, I was like, why did I get teary though? I don't really know what we were getting there.
I got nothing from that final scene. I felt absolutely nothing. I think because I misunderstood what they were getting at, and that like Margot Robbie's performance is incredible. That's not the reason. It's the montage, because it's like this is a creator and like their creation, but also like I named you after my daughter. And then the montage starts with all these kids and their moms. And I'm like, is Barbie just going to become a mom? The thing we destroyed at the beginning, that women don't have to just necessarily be mothers. So for this whole final monologue until it got to be like, or montage, until it got to be like just adult women, I'm like, oh, it's just being alive. It's just humanity. So for half of it, I was just like, I don't want the theme to be you have to be a mom at the end. And I thought that's where they were going with it. So I was just kind of upset for like 2 minutes, and then I couldn't bring it back to appreciate it. I think on another viewing, if I was like, no, they're not saying you have to be a mom. And if you want to be a mom, absolutely. Oh my God, of course. But like, the whole opening part is you don't have to just be a mom. You can have every job in the world. You can be everything.
Right.
So I was very disappointed for a few minutes.
I think it might have been that you're defined by your creator until you define yourself.
Okay, I can live with that too.
Maybe, but that's me trying to like really find a simplification of what makes these things coalesce.
I think it was just like, if you're going to be human, this is a full human lifespan.
Right.
And like you get to see what it's like. It's not one individual woman's life. You're everyone and everything. So here's a bunch of women. And now I like looking back, I can see that was the point. But in the moment watching the movie, I was just like, oh, you just called her your daughter, and now we're seeing a bunch of women with kids. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
We're gonna go pick up those baby dolls.
Sure.
We're gonna go right back to the beginning.
Or right back to okay.
Yeah, we just had a revolution about the baby dolls.
Yeah.
So that isn't what they were saying, but I misread it, so it ruined my enjoyment of it. I actually was like very moved though, midway through the movie when she just stopped and experienced like nature and humanity happening around her.
That was moving.
That one got me. That one was great. Just like feeling like sunshine and like the real world and real people all around you and like emotions for the first time. I thought that was
people
wonderful.
having an argument or having a relationship or a moment themselves, and then turning to the woman on the bench next to her and saying, "You're beautiful," and her going, "I know," confidently. I was like, I love this woman. I love this moment of humanity that they've written in here.
And I love this moment for Barbie, who was like so upset she had cellulite, to look at an old lady and be like, oh no, wait.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. This reality's beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. This was a really nice moment. God, the first 2 acts were so clean. What happened?
It's just the first 2 acts, it feels like an art house A24 movie where I'm just like, it very much at times feels like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where like this story of existential dread in a parental relationship, and how do you define yourself in a universe where you are everything everywhere all at once, which is weirdly another way to describe what Barbie is feeling in this movie.
She's everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, in a fucked up way, this is a soft variation of the storytelling themes, styles, and techniques of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
You're not wrong, and that's crazy. But it's also not, because this movie knows that it's doing those things. And it's a really, really interesting exploration of so many things what else is...
To kind of like circle back to some of the comedy as well. Another thing that I did really enjoy was some of the fourth wall breaking of this movie. I really enjoyed that opening musical sequence that is like talking about what Barbie is doing, and then is like acknowledging and conversing with Barbie to be like, oh, that shower's cold, like singing it through. I don't have the lyrics in front of me, and I'm not a singer, so I wouldn't recreate it if I dare. But those 2 opening musical sequences of the morning you wake up and everything's perfect, and the morning you wake up and everything's a bit off, I thought was really smart.
Yeah, establish the life of what she does every day, break the routine immediately, so you can like instantly feel things are wrong. Yeah, very, very well set up, and everything's just cute and funny. Like it's just like, it's like this is storytelling, but also every single scene is so entertaining.
Yeah.
We've got Alan, we've got Ken trying to beach, and he's
beach you off, a beach off.
I don't know what that is.
I get the joke they were going for, and it was kind of like, it made me giggle a little. Like, oh, okay, I get it. It went a little too long, but I feel like it went on long enough that I'm like, it got funny again. The only thing I found disappointing is at some point I did want them to have a sincere beach off, and for them to define what a beach off would be.
I mean, they have like a Normandy style battle, but like that's not a beach off.
They don't call it a beach off.
No,
so
and then their final final battle is a dance off, but
Yeah.
you've been beaching off.
Yeah, I wanted to see what a beach off was.
I agree. I mean, I loved the dancing. I will always love a dance in a musical number from the bottom of my heart.
that dance sequence with Gosling and Simu too is just a great musical video, and it's just really fucking fun and good.
Really fun and good. All the guys are giving it their all. The choreography's fun. There's a little bit of a story being told. And yeah, everything on the beach was just wonderful. Oh my God, this is not the same thing when the CEOs are coming through and they just have a super long tandem bike.
Yeah.
Because there's like 12 of them.
So funny.
Yeah, there's just great jokes in here that are just like hitting nonstop. Like Ken and Barbie not knowing how to be boyfriend and girlfriend because they are an innocent couple. Like, why would you stay over at my place? I don't know. I just don't know what I would do while I'm here.
But he knows that he wants it.
He wants to be there. And yeah, just having a party with her girlfriend. Like, the president's here. The president's at your slumber party
Really
is
good.
top-notch humor. They absolutely looked at every aspect of Barbie that makes her her and is like, how do we parody it but love it? But also, because the marketing of this was, if you love Barbie, you'll love this movie. If you hate Barbie, you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
We also will be bashing Barbie.
Yeah, it is a criticism of Barbie's complicated history while also celebrating Barbie's complicated history.
With even Barbie herself in a movie made by Mattel being like, why is this boardroom full of men and the CEO's not a woman? And Will Ferrell being like, in the 90s, there was one.
There was one. And there was another one. And the ghost of one lives on the 17th floor, which is a weird side tangent.
She's a ghost.
Love that. She has a ghost room for ghosting.
For ghosting, you know how like just humans become ghosts in this reality.
I also love when Barbie Land becomes Ken Land as well. The small different changes of like there's more trucks, the running gag of just screensaver videos of horses playing on. I could not stop laughing every time there was a scene where quietly there's a video of horses playing in the background. Fuck, that was killing. And it reached one point where they have like the wide shot of like 4 Ken neighbors all talking. And all of them have 3 TVs on in their house, all of which are playing different horse background videos. I felt like I was dying. It was so funny to me.
It's very funny. It is funny. It is like a great commentary that all the Kens, even when they got a personality, all had the same personality.
Ooh, yeah.
So they still weren't like Barbie. They weren't like, I'm this Ken and I'm this Ken. They were still just Ken.
Right.
They're just the same Ken multiplied over and over again. I will say it hurt my heart in a way I think the movie didn't intend for most of Act 3 when we got to Barbie Land and it had been turned into Ken Land. I really felt the loss of agency of these women in a way I didn't expect to be hit by, especially as you're leaving the real world where you just had felt like so unsafe and infringed upon, and you think you're going back to this safe space and it's been taken away from you. I actually, in a way I'm not sure the movie intended, was like inherently sad.
Yeah.
And she goes to her house and her boyfriend has taken it and won't let her stay there. And I'm like, yeah, that really happens, but I don't like it here. But you know what? Thinking of the rest of the movie, it probably is intentional.
I think it is intentional because the other thing that I didn't like about how that third act made me feel, and I'm like, I think that was also intentional, was as terrible as that was, they also played Ken sympathetically at the same time. Where like when it's like he took my house and was like, where did he used to live? And her being like, I don't know, and just staring off and to be like, oh yeah, all of them had nothing. Like it's also like they played it very sympathetic. And when he's just like, we have a boys' night every night and there's never any room for you, and that doesn't feel very good, does it? And he walks away. I'm like, oh my Jesus, yeah, all of this sucks.
All of it does suck, but I guess because I feel like in our universe we societally know it's wrong, and Barbie had no idea.
Yeah,
but it definitely was yeah. I where do you think the Ken slept? On the beach? Because they all slept. They all closed their eyes, the night changed, and they slept. So, like, where were they? Never actually told us where the Kens were staying.
Yeah, they were just homeless or on the beach or whatever, and not having a great time or a good life.
Yeah, in a weird way, you actually do understand the rebellion that happens. I guess what bothers me more than the rebellion happening was all the women leaving their jobs.
Yeah.
That didn't totally track for me of how that was happening. I get why the men would uprise if they hear about patriarchy.
Sure.
But it didn't inherently track to me of like, why would the women all just not be president anymore?
Yeah.
They also like horses.
Yeah, they were
Inherently, women like horses.
They were
more than men usually.
They were they were saying that they were brainwashed and they needed to be reconditioned and I forget the term for unbrainwashing. What is it? I don't know the word. Unbrainwashed. I'm forgetting the word.
Cool with unbrainwashed.
Ugh.
Deprogrammed?
Deprogrammed. That is the word.
It deprogrammed?
Deprogrammed was what I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bucky fan fiction.
So it was like they need to be deprogrammed, and then I think there's something to be said there as well. To be like victims of the patriarchy are also women who buy into
the patriarchy,
and brainwashing that they've been subjected to. I agree, it does happen fast and off camera, which makes it feel kind of unmotivated, but it's also at a point in the movie where all women lose agency as well. So it's like, oh, there's a lot of weird, gross stuff that might be the point.
But what is the point?
Yeah, and there's just a couple too many.
There's a couple too many, and it's a real shame because it's a near pitch perfect film.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit ends with like, humanity's complicated.
Humanity's complicated. Also, I can't tell if Ryan Gosling can even sing. I don't know what's happening here.
Oh yeah, I don't know that either. But
comedically, when he's just trying to voice match Matchbox 20, it's so funny.
Fuck.
I wanna push you around.
And
you don't realize how silly Matchbox 20 sings.
And also just the lyrics of that song. Which I've never really analyzed, but I also have not analyzed a lot of the work of Matchbox 20. Just wasn't the song I expected them to choose there as well, but a very good comedic choice.
Yeah, it's not the I jump to like male song I think of.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the push you around part is why it got chosen.
I think it is just like the lyrics and its message.
Yeah, because I think I jumped to like Nickelback.
Yeah, maybe that's the Canadian in you. I don't know. For a comedic reference, my brain wants to go to like a Papa Roach, which
cut
my life into pieces. I feel like that.
You left me no choice, Barbie.
Yeah. Yellow Jackets does a great job of a good Papa Roach needle drop. So I feel like that's also a potentially good cut on that.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even know Barbie's song that she was singing in her car. I'm like a bad music fan. I'm not a big music fan though.
I don't really know that one either.
I don't know the music.
I liked the effect of the car flipping over as well. Like the handful of like sparkle effects or like this is a toy effect really worked. I think there was like a moment where like when Simu and Ryan are having like the Ken off and it's like they just have like chest sparkles kind of like hit one another as like they're fighting each other with good looks.
Different scene.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about Alan. We said we would.
Let's talk about Alan.
I'm not sure what I have to say other than so funny. And the best jokes in this being based on actual genuine discontinued dolls is the true heart of comedy. Midge, the pregnant one. Oh yeah, Will Ferrell got like surprised by Midge.
Oh, I thought we discontinued you. Oh my God. Oh, it's unsettling.
This movie has so many fun little jokes. And yeah, every joke being an actual Barbie that's discontinued is so good.
Yeah. And I looked up the lore. Apparently, Midge is Alan's wife.
Oh, shit.
That's Alan's baby.
They don't. Alan.
I know. You can't run away, Alan. You've got a baby.
You're going to be a dad. You're going to be the only Ken who's a dad.
You're going to eternally be an expecting dad because I don't think anything happens.
This might explain his anxiety.
Ooh, this does explain why he's a little different.
Alan's a little like, hi guys, I'd like to leave and I don't know what's happening.
I'm Alan. I mean, in this world where like everyone is trying to find the human experience of being an individual, you'd love to be Alan. Frankly, honestly, Alan's the one dude where it's like, hey Ken, hey Alan. And Alan's like, yeah, Alan should be like, yeah, it's me, Alan. I'm fucking Alan.
I mean, I honestly feel like now that I found out that Midge is his wife and like there's only one Midge, I feel like Alan and Midge should be like the ideal of the Barbie universe, right? Like they're a genuine couple who are together. They are their own individuals. They have no personality other than what they've decided upon.
That's interesting.
I actually really would like to see them being like just quietly in the corner, like, let's just be happy together and like we'll run away together. Now I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
Now I'm rooting for these crazy kids.
Yeah. I want them to make it happen. And Michael Cera does a great job of playing Alan. He's the perfect Alan.
He is a perfect
I liked
Alan.
him just like choking out Kens at the border at the like if they figure out how to build that brick wall left to right instead of just up and just them only building it up. That's a great gag.
I don't even know why that would be inherently why they did it. But what I don't understand Ken's.
Yeah. So that was a good bit of Alan there. The one joke that they never explained that I found frustrating during the storming of the beach scene, when the executives show up, the like second executive in command, I forget that actor's name. He was on After Party. He's very funny. But he goes like, I've been shot. And then Will Ferrell's like, you can't have been shot. There's no guns here. But you heard there was a gunshot in that scene. And he's been shot. And then for when the CEOs show up later, in the background he's there. He's got his arm in a cast and a sling.
He does have his arm in
He's been shot, but they never really like followed through with that. I expected to like cut over and be like a Ken and a G.I. Joe have like teamed up or something, or like they've figured out guns or something. But one dude gets shot.
That's a great point. I had assumed that he was in Barbie Land and he gotten shot with one of those like Nerf bow and arrows.
But we didn't see
But there was
the
no
thing.
arrow, you're right.
Yeah,
He
it
did
was
have
just
a
a
sling
gunshot
later.
sound, and then he had like, and then he was hurt.
So there is just some kind of assassin there.
One Ken has a gun.
I mean, there's got to be a cowboy Ken with a gun.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about the cowboy angle.
I wouldn't say there's like a military Ken, but
Yeah.
I would say there's a cowboy Ken.
I could
I mean, he
easily
dressed as
see-
a cowboy for most of the movie.
Yeah, I could easily see a cowboy Ken
And I
with
don't know
a
if
gun.
a cowboy is inherently a gun-based character, but I think he probably had one.
Yeah.
Are you going to Google the cowboy Ken real quick?
No. I was mainly wondering. I'm like, is G.I. Joe also Mattel?
Oh, I don't know which is which. I've never tracked
Okay.
who these people are owned by and such.
Yeah, because G.I. Joes were like originally the same size as a Barbie. It was like that. G.I. Joe's Hasbro.
Oh.
So I guess they didn't have the.
So they weren't there on the beach.
They weren't on the beaches of Barbie Land.
No, the Transformers weren't there as robots in disguise.
No.
Just shooting Kens.
I think
Maybe one of the other CEOs brought a gun.
Oh, they brought a gun in. That'll do it.
You can't bring that in from outside.
think
No
the-
outside food.
I think the last cast member we never really talked about was Kate McKinnon. That had
Oh.
kind of like a larger role, who I think was great in this.
She's always so good to the point where I expect it and then never show my gratitude, you know? And it
Yeah.
makes me feel bad because she always brings it.
She does always bring it.
Yeah, she was incredible casting for Weird Barbie. I like the running joke if we call her Weird Barbie to her face and behind her back. So funny. Again, the honesty of the Barbies is quite nice.
Yeah.
And she just absolutely nails it. Always doing the splits. And just like, I think a lot of her best bits were in the trailers again, but like you have to choose one of the shoes.
Yeah. No, you have to choose.
You have to want to know.
Yeah.
You have to choose the flat one.
I like that it ends with Barbie wearing like a pink Birkenstock as well. That's a nice little bookend. I liked that a lot.
Circular.
Yeah.
Boom.
She chose both. Well, I'm feeling pretty good on Barbie. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think the last thing I will talk about is a thing that I almost want to say is a negative, but I relate to so hard that I will allow it. The daughter was also wildly mean to her mom, to America Ferrera.
Yes.
Just like wildly mean. And they get along, but she never apologizes for being mean, and they don't really like figure out what was going on there. And I'm almost like, and in my heart of hearts, as like a person who likes structure of movies and knows how they work, I'm like, that's a huge plot point they missed, or like I don't feel resolved about this. But
Because they do also establish she's the mean kid at school, to the point that other kids are like, you don't go talk to her. She will make you cry.
no, not even adults. They
Yeah.
want adults away from her. She's that mean. But also from my own life, I will say, I have the greatest mother in the world, the kindest, most supportive, wonderful woman. And I also have a very clear memory of being wildly mean to her for about 6 months in my teenage years and never apologizing and just kind of stop doing it when your hormones have like balanced out a little. So I'm oddly forgiving about this weird storyline, but it also just feels wildly unresolved that like you never told your mom sorry for being just wildly mean to her.
Another one of those weird, complicated messinesses of life that I don't know is the point of this movie or not, where it's just like, yeah, sometimes you're incredibly mean and never apologize and just move forward from it, but you were the worst for a while.
You were the worst. Your brain was forming and you weren't understanding that empathy exists or that your mom is a real human being who is hurt when you're mean to her.
And that's reality.
And that's reality.
That's reality. That's how people are.
It happened to me.
But it's weird that it's in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that's not the like crux of the movie.
Yeah.
If it was the crux of the movie.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
So that like bummed me out and also darkly relatable as well. Makes me want to call my mom.
Yeah. Well, give her a call.
I can give her a call.
Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we discussed what we've discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do go in for the close and ask that final question, we will remind you, as we do every week, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you might get your podcasts. It helps us move up the charts. It helps us get recommended to new listeners. And when new listeners find us, it makes it more likely that they will actually hit download, hit subscribe, and give us a chance.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple of nice reviews lately that I've really enjoyed from countries I didn't expect. So thank you all, everyone out there, everyone everywhere all at once.
Yes.
Leaving us nice reviews. But we always want more. It helps us out so much. People get to see that we're current, relevant, hip, happening. So let people know you like us and let people know you like another podcast or two that you're enjoying while you're there leaving reviews.
Bring the Kenergy to the comments.
Ooh, get in the comments.
Get in the comments. And thank you to those of you who've left a review and who will. And as well, if you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that over on Patreon, which is a monthly subscription service where you can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget. And you will get cool bonuses depending on your level of subscription. Even at the $1 level, if you only have $1 in your budget, you'll get our webcomic a day early, and you will also get our gratitude. Thank you to all of our $1 patrons. Those add up and make a world of difference. It's what allows us to make this our full-time job, is our patrons. And at the $3 level, you will get our regular episodes. You'll get them early and ad-free as well. So you could be listening to this Barbie episode on a Thursday evening instead of a Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. And that is especially nice if you want that spoiler-free review before the weekend when a new release comes out.
If you care about what we think, and that determines whether or not you buy tickets, then that's helpful for that one.
Or if you just like to hear our jokes a little bit early.
That's right. And then at the $10 level, you get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month. This month's bonus episode, we did it on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Woo!
So that's one we did. It's a fun episode though. We have a good time on that one.
You guys didn't have to watch it.
We did.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So you can listen to that one. That is available right now. And as well, when you sign up at that $10 hero level, you get immediate access to the full back catalog. So you get all of the many hours of bonus content that we've put on Patreon in the past.
So many hours, you guys.
So go check us out over at patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That is patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
My big change is Act 3 is going to have kind of a singular focus of what the theme is going to be. It would be a lot of small rewriting that would have to happen. You have to like remove themes and put them in. But I think just kind of ending Barbie's story is where I'm going to focus on my big change for theme. So where I kind of thought this was going, and what I thought was a nice parallel of this specific Barbie with all the Kens, is that all the Barbies have a job and the Kens are just Kens. But our Barbie is stereotypical Barbie. She doesn't have a job. She's not everything. She has the kind of potential to be anything, but she's not everything. She's not anything. She has no point. When she gets back to Barbie Land, she doesn't have a job in society. The Kens want them, and she's more like that. So to me, I think this kind of, instead of existential dread, I think it's just finding what you want to do in life. And I think Ken should have been a lifeguard at the end, like he wanted to do so badly, instead of just being Knuff. And he is Knuff. He's enough, but you still need a job in society. There's going to be one supreme judge. And I think he could be a lifeguard. And I think Barbie can still have this nice talk with her creator and be like, but I'm not anything. I'm stereotypical Barbie. I don't have a job. And then she can be like, you can be anything. You have the potential to be anything. And she still chooses to be human. She's like, it's not just kind of the only option in front of her because now she has existential dread. It is like, what do you want to be? But all the jobs are like kind of filled and she doesn't want to take those. So she chooses to be human is my kind of like, she figures out her own purpose. And then actually, I'm going to say, as funny as the joke about the gynecologist is, when she gets to the real world, she works at a job agency to help other people figure out their jobs because she can like spot what people should have to do for their jobs.
That's fun.
Thanks.
That's fun.
She looks at someone and she's like, I know what you should be. President, journalist, doctor, mermaid. And so she works at a job agency and she gives other people their jobs because she's stereotypical Barbie who doesn't have one. So yeah, she just kind of finds a point.
Huh.
She finds a purpose because her and the Kens have no purpose.
Yeah.
And so my theme is like just finding your purpose in life.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, the guidance counselor ending or job counselor ending. I think that crushes.
Oh, thank
that's
you.
really good.
I think that's very fun.
Yeah, I think that's really clear and fun. Of like, I help other people find. There's part of like the jokey version in me is like, well, I'm stereotypical Barbie. I don't have a job. What's my job in the real world? And it's influencer. I think is the job that you end up doing.
Oh shit! I mean, that's her real. That's what she would actually.
Yeah.
Do,
but job counselor, I think, is a way more poignant and kind of meaningful ending to that.
Yeah,
So I think that's
like
cool.
Ken could even come in and she could make him a lifeguard.
Yeah. And I love Ken as a lifeguard.
How is he not a lifeguard at the end of this?
Love that.
He wanted to be a lifeguard so bad. He genuinely seems to like the beach.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like that he's just beach. Andrew, what would you change in Barbie?
I love your changes. I'm 100% on board with this. I think one of the big things to help kind of clean up a little bit of the structure of the second through the third act is unfortunately removing the daughter character. Because she doesn't do anything other than be mean and is just a red herring. Because like, and an unnecessary red herring. It starts in this first act with like Barbie trying to I think I can sense who it is that whose life I'm a part of, and then I need to go find her. And okay, so it's this girl. But in all the flashbacks, I'm like, oh, it's a girl with a conveniently cropped out of frame mother in every shot.
Every single shot.
And I'm like, oh, so it's the mother's memories. It's the mother's memories. It's the mother's memories. And then we find the girl, and she's unnecessarily mean. And then we find the mother, and it's the mother's Barbie, and the mother draws Barbies, and the mother works at Mattel. And the story is 100% about America Ferrera's character at that point. And the daughter is irrelevant. She's there and is mean, and then eventually the mother and daughter are nice, but there's no real motivation for that. And when America Ferrera's character is talking about motherhood, she talks about it in a vague general sense and not in a way that addresses her daughter, where she's never like, motherhood's exhausting and everyone expects something to you all the time, and then looks over at her daughter and is like, but it also has some of the most beautiful moments with someone I love. She talks generally about motherhood and not to her daughter. So I'm like, if your daughter wasn't here, these speeches actually are kind of like more poignant, and it's not kind of weird that you're talking about your daughter as if she isn't in the room. So I feel like the daughter just being here at all kind of clutters up the story and for a weird red herring that makes it about what it's not actually about.
I love this idea of cutting the daughter because, yeah, the movie is about Barbies, but it really is about like, it's not like kids can watch it, but it really is like adults who played with Barbies and an adult view of Barbies. Like the child aspect is negligible. You don't need her there. But like how women who grew up with Barbies were affected by Barbies is very interesting.
Yes, and having America Ferrera being like, I work for the company and no one's listening to me, and I'm not executive Barbie, and I'm not any of the things that you taught me I could be. I'm someone who draws Barbies in my notepad while I'm at the front desk.
Yeah, I'm much more interested in the relationship between her and Barbie than her and her daughter.
Yes,
Yeah.
and her and Barbie and where she is in life. And the daughter just kind of clouds all of it up a little bit.
I think it would be much cleaner without the daughter here. Yeah, I'm fully on board for this.
Yeah, and then it makes it, I think, even clearer then that this is a movie about the complicated relationship with Barbie, because it's about an adult who had expectations set up for her, which allowed her to dream in potential and then have to conflict that with reality. And that is the problem that this doll owner is dealing with that is affecting this Barbie. But yeah, it works better without the daughter.
No, works totally much cleaner, much better without the daughter.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, we've cleaned this up.
I think we've cleaned this up quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Well, that is going to do it for this week on the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to be back next week on the podcast. We will be talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2.
Season 2's out, baby.
I believe up to episode 7
or 8.
7 or 8.
Whatever's out that week.
Yes, so we'll be talking about Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. We originally had Secret Invasion on the schedule, which we have decided not to watch or cover on this podcast because their opening title sequence was made entirely with AI. And we will not be providing any media coverage or watching anything that uses full AI art and I air quote art there, full AI creations to replace human artists. So, we won't be covering Secret Invasion. We won't be watching it. And if other shows do it in the future, our intention is to do the same. We support human artists creating things.
We support human artists. If you don't like it, talk to Marvel. Email the studios about it.
Yep.
We don't like it. We won't support it. We couldn't even bring ourselves to hit play.
Yep.
So
we support SAG and the WGA as well.
Good luck with the strike, folks.
Support them on the strike. Drop some water off at the picket line if that's near you. There's also different ways to support the WGA and SAG through different support funds and things like that. But yeah, support the WGA and SAG and always say no to AI art. So we won't be covering that next week. We will be covering Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Written by real people.
Written by real people with opening title sequences by real people, baby.
Woo! What a low bar.
Pretty low bar. So if you want to get a hold of us in the meantime, you can find me on Instagram or now Threads at Ivimey, Ivimey.
I will say, Andrew's been thriving on Threads.
It's fun out there.
Your threads have been good.
Thank you.
You've been having some banging threads.
Fun out there in the streets.
You can find me on Tumblr at Words of Diana.
And you can find both of us at From Superheroes, and you can visit FromSuperheroes.com to find more of our podcasts, webcomics, and so much more. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.